Hello everybody. Today I'd like to talk to you about our children's relationship with food. Children who've experienced early life trauma most of the time will have an unhealthy relationship with food. I want us to think about why that is and how we can help them. So a number of factors here. I speak from personal experience of always having a really tricky relationship with food. Often we think that our children's problems around food is because lack of food availability when they were very young, and that may well be a big contributing reason why the problem is there. Of course, if you were starved or you were not fed consistently and predictably, there was no routine around food, then there are going to be some problems, particularly fear around not being fed or there not being enough food. If food money was spent on drugs or alcohol or other necessary items even, there wasn't enough money for food. Maybe some of the children lived on what I call off-licence foods. So if the parents were addicts, often there's a lot of sweets and salty processed foods around. Many of our children have high cortisol and will be addicted to sugar. And we know that sugar is far more addictive than cocaine. And so many of our children will be sugar fiends, always looking for the next sugar hit. And for me, one of the biggest issues is actually using food to replace the nurture of a parent. So when we have a nurture deficit, which definitely happens if you're neglected, your early life needs haven't been met, or you've had numerous ruptured attachments, then what happens is there's always this hole in your heart that you try to fill with food. And I speak from experience. And one of the things that occurs is that we substitute oxytocin, the wonderful bonding hormone, for dopamine, which we can get from lots of food. So I know myself, if I'm feeling really stressed or sad, upset about something, the first thing that I want to reach for is something sweet. I want that hit of dopamine to help with the lack of oxytocin. So if we understand our children's difficult relationship with food originates from early life trauma, neglect and ruptured attachments, then it helps us to approach the problem differently. So as you know, in many of my videos, I will read a poem because I think that it really brings things into focus for us. And again, this is from my book, Therapeutic Parenting, Rhyme and Reason, Mum, I'm Starving. What if you don't feed me and I'm starving late at night? I've nicked biscuits from the cupboard and caused an awful fight. My first mum hardly fed me and my belly used to growl. So when you're fast asleep, I'm often on the prowl. I know I've been here ages and you say you'll meet my needs, but I'm lonely in my room and I've never had night feeds. No one ever got up and rocked me when I cried, so my need remains unmet and I'm wobbly inside. Underneath my bed, I've hid a little stash of chocolate, crisps and biscuits and a pack of instant mash. I know I shouldn't do it and I'm racked with toxic shame, but the urge just overtakes me and I carry on the same. I've got these dreadful feelings and a whir inside my brain. I'm desperate for the sugar like an addict on cocaine. The sugar helps the whirring and gives me a great high. Then afterwards it's worse as my fists begin to fly. I cannot wait till the weekend when I get a bit of cash. Straight down to the shops for chocolate and flapjacks. I spend my pocket money on sweet stuff, crisps and drink. They're gone within the hour before you can even blink. I haven't got those pathways built to let me know that you will always feed me and never let me go. I truly cannot recognise when my tummy is quite full or believe that you will feed me when I get back home from school. I'm not just being greedy, it's a need to stay alive. Food is often hoarded as I'm wired to survive. I think you might have noticed that I always clear my plate, then tell you that I'm hungry when it's getting rather late. Babies should have parents who get up in the night to feed them if they're crying until they feel all right. That wasn't my experience. No one came to see if I was feeling hungry or had a full nappy. Often I would wait till later in the day for a little bit of food that would sometimes come my way. Due to this neglect, I haven't got the knowledge. When I wake up in the morning, there's bacon, eggs and porridge. Sadly, it will take a long time to believe that food is always there. I need a clear routine. Feeding at the same time each and every day, and a magic bowl of fruit that never goes away. A graze box in the kitchen filled up every morning to communicate the message, I'll never be left starving. Do try to remember to gently name the need, that I struggle with believing that you'll never miss a feed. Reassure and hold me and let me know you'll come if I wake up in the night and I call out for my mum. Children who have not been fed regularly are governed by fear of food unavailability. They are continually preoccupied with thoughts of food and when they will next be fed. Food is often used to self-soothe and as a substitute for nurture. In addition, high cortisol creates a sugar addiction in the child, and many parents are concerned about their child's desperate need for sugar and inventive ways of gaining access to it. And sometimes that's even things like taking dry pasta, because we know that it turns to sugar when they eat it. I know of a child who ate a whole jar of molasses, that kind of stuff, real sugar fiends, because they are desperate to fulfill that addiction and bring down the high cortisol. So the other thing that we can do is to use a narrative here, often referred to as naming the need. And what does that look like? So we might say something to the child, I've noticed that you're taking lots of food lately and hiding it in your bedroom. I think maybe you're worried about there not being enough food. Perhaps you could use my book, Inside Little Big Me Lives a Little Me, that when you were little, there were times when there weren't enough food. I'm so sorry that happened to you. That shouldn't happen to anybody, but I'm here to help you with that. So I'm going to give you a little box with some food in that you can take to your room. If you wake up in the night and you're worried about food, it will be there. Rather than try to get the child not to have the problem, we need to work with the child to help them understand that we know why you have this problem and this is how we're going to help you. And when the child does the same thing again, we remind them, I think you've forgotten. Remember when we had this conversation before, and this is how I'm going to help you. And also letting the child know that you've got a great big hole inside you, a great big hole that needs to be filled with hugs, that no amount of chocolate and sweets and pizza and burgers can ever fill. Hugs and love will fill that hole. Thank you for listening.